Hi, welcome to You Time. The purpose of You Time is to help you prioritize yourself by taking a few minutes each day so that you can be the best version of yourself for the other people in your life. This could include your children, your professional colleagues, your spouse, your immediate family, your friends, all the people who depend on you. So the topic that I wanted to focus today is on mantras. And I think this is going to be a pretty short and sweet, probably less than 5-minute podcast. Buddha said, what you think you become, what you feel you attract, what you imagine you create. So a definition of a mantra is a word or sound repeated to aid in concentration or meditation, or it can also be defined as a statement or repeated slogan. I've heard about mantras my whole life, and I did always sort of associate it with meditation or yoga practice, repeating a word to kind of center yourself. And I always thought of it as sort of a serious subject matter. The purpose of mantras, is to increase confidence, increase focus, and say it to manifest it or believe it. And I never really had a mantra. I was, as you probably know by now, I've been on a big motivational kick between podcasts and reading, and I've read and listened to a number of things that have been really helpful. One of the first books I read on this journey is called You're a Badass by Jen Sincero, and I really love it. It was, lighthearted and fun, but also really poignant, and kind of helped bring some things into focus for me. And she did a segment on mantras, and I chose one for myself. It's not one word, it's a phrase, and it is, I sparkle and I radiate happiness. And I chose it for myself, and, at first I was saying it in my head constantly. I have a little sticky note actually on both of the mirrors in my house that say I sparkle and I radiate happiness. And one of the reasons that I chose that mantra is a friend of mine years ago, right at the time when my ex-husband and I separated, told me that that she thought that the separation was a really healthy thing, because when we were teenagers, she thought I was one of the most sparkly people that she knew, and that I attracted happiness because I emulated happiness, and that she thought that, my relationship with my husband sort of at the end kind of snuffed that out. And then also, when I was going through cancer treatment, I am a 6+ year breast cancer survivor. People would send me little memes, and one of them was, don't ever let anyone dull your sparkle. And I like sparkly things. I like shiny objects. I have glitter nail polish on my toes right now. I have jewelry boxes that are covered with bling. I love sparkly things. They've always attracted my attention. So I kind of wanted to put myself in a mission to get my sparkle back. So my mantra, I sparkle and I radiate happiness. So I remember, the first day I kind of tested this out. I was saying it over and over again in my head, and I realized it's actually physiologically impossible for me to say, I sparkle and radiate happiness without smiling. I remember there's this particularly just awful intersection in Worcester that I have to drive through often, especially on my way home from work. And, I'm tired. I've been up since 4:00 in the morning. I've been on the train. I've, had my A game on in the office all day, and I'm pretty pooped. And it is just this god-awful intersection. And it's one of those things where you just kind of take a deep breath and take your life into your own hands and pray that you don't get in a car accident. So on this particular day, and many days since, I'm in that intersection, and I'm saying my mantra, out loud in the car by myself. I sparkle and I radiate happiness. And it's just sort of my way of dealing with all the difficult drivers that I'm intersecting with at this intersection. It's also something that, I use. I take a deep breath before facing something challenging, and it helps me stay focused, and it helps me, try to manifest that statement. So, sometimes I go into a meeting, if I'm broaching a sensitive topic with, a colleague or my boyfriend or one of my friends, or, I'm going into an interaction with my parents that I might feel challenging, I just pause and say, you know what, Synne, you sparkle and you radiate happiness. So, it's done a lot for me, and I definitely, whether you want to go back and read, some quotes by Buddha, or you want to do some Googling on the benefits of mantras, or you want to introduce it to your yoga process, or just start each day with it, end each day with it, I highly recommend it. But there is, there's accounts of the benefits of mantra, from Buddha all the way to today. As you know, I also listen to a podcast, the Happiness Podcast, and that is Gretchen Rubin, who is a writer, and her sister Elizabeth Kraft, who is a Hollywood writer. And I was listening to this kind of going into the holidays, and one of the things that they suggested was coming up with a holiday mantra. The holidays for us often bring, a lot of joy and excitement, but they can also be incredibly stressful. And I think last year I accidentally set myself up with a mantra. I kept singing the song, I want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Only a hippopotamus would do. And lo and behold, I got a stuffed hippopotamus for Christmas, which was really cute at the time, but be careful what you wish for. So anyway, they were talking about, a holiday mantra and something to kind of help you stay focused and grounded throughout the holiday season. And they suggested that a way to select a holiday mantra was to think about lyrics from different Christmas songs. And there are a lot of really cute ones out there, and I don't remember exactly what their examples were. Oh, I think one of them was maybe Let It Snow, and I hate the snow, so I was pretty careful not to say that one out loud. But the mantra that I selected was Merry and Bright. So I wanted to, again, I think the brightness goes back to the sparkling, but I wanted to focus on the joy and positivity of the holidays and not the stress. I had some anxiety going into the holidays. It's just, crazy and a lot of running around, and I didn't have my son on Christmas itself, so there were lots of different celebrations and lots of preparations, and I had a little bit of tension going on with some people in my life leading up to the holidays, and I just said, you know what? I'm going to put those negative thoughts aside and focus on my holidays being merry and bright. And I think they were, going into situations that I knew were going to be challenging. I would just take a moment and pause and say, the holidays are going to be merry and bright for me. And we create what we feel and we attract it. And so for me, that was merry and brightness. And the funny thing is while I was doing, holiday shopping, I would come across, paper plates and mugs and pillows and all kinds of accessories and decorations that had that slogan on it. And I found myself buying them just to kind of surround myself as a way of reminding me of my meditation. I also caught myself with a pillow that said dashing through the snow, and I actually turned that around so I wasn't looking at it, because I definitely did not want to manifest that this holiday season. I came up with a mantra for 2019, And that is an additional mantra on top of sparkling and radiating happiness, because that is something I want to focus on every day. But something else I want to focus on, which became my word for 2019, is goals. And, goals, or goal, I should say, has, a connotation for reaching your ideal weight for Weight Watchers, but I wanted it to be my word of the year to propel me in lots of different directions in 2019. These are a lot of personal and professional goals. I made a list of 19 goals for 2019, and, they are things like maintaining my weight and getting to Pilates 3 times a week, and planning some cool activities and vacations, yoga with goats, a date night in New York with my boyfriend. So, every morning I'm going to focus on those goals. There's a lot of kind of commercialization around mantras, and I keep seeing ads on Instagram for mantra bands, and I think those are pretty cool. I also follow a hashtag daily mantras, so I see all kinds of neat things pop up. But then there's also this company that makes ecologically friendly temporary tattoos. It's called Conscious Ink, and those are different symbols or even some mantras. And I've purchased a few different packages, and I've been using them kind of regularly. I have one that says grateful, and I put that on at different times where I need to be focused on my gratitudes. And there are, what was the other one that I had? Oh, heads up, wings out, which I really liked. Reminds me to, chin up and face the world confidently and shoot for the stars. And I also, of course, like the pun in the wings out, since wing is my last name. So this has gone on a little bit longer than I had promised you, and I'm really curious, and I challenge you to take pause and spend a little bit of you time coming up with your mantra, something that you want to manifest. And again, I encourage you to write it down and to say it out loud and to say it in your head until you actually feel it coming true, and then say it some more. So I'm really curious what yours are. So share them with me at youtime2019gmail.com. That's youtime2019. And I'd love to hear about you on future topics for YouTime. And also, please follow me on Twitter at Synne and Instagram at Synne, and share this podcast with your friends and people you think who could benefit from this. I can't wait to hear what your mantra would be.